fact is, it was a natural bridge as well, because there's a section where guys have said this. What happens is there's a natural phenomenon where, according to a specific tide and a specific thing, that this thing starts to part and it actually makes a land bridge across, only at the specific time of year.
Every 200 years.
So it's something like, okay, so God planned the tides and planned all of this to be able to do that, but the problem with that is that land bridge would have closed, or would have been open enough for the Egyptians. This thing was completely controlled, where it gets to the point where it goes, the last one's across, they're in the middle, and everything gets washed away. And it's so quickly, it's not just a blub, 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 turn around, go swim. Okay?
Actually, two pillars that are on the side of the but the satellite imaging, you can actually see where the water changed.
We could make the argument for both.
It can
Good. Again, guys, let's bring it back. This is all speculation, and I'm giving you different viewpoints of what certain people think. All right, you're going to be comfortable with what you have. At basic form, whether it was a land bridge or not, this water that God was holding back, and I want to remind you about a story where God separated waters and allowed dry land to pop up. It's called creation. Where He held back the chaos and He brought forth order through the parting of His breath.
There's a psalmist, Psalm 17, 19 to 20, which relates back to this event. It says, "Your way was in the sea, and your path in the great waters, and your footsteps were not known. You did lead your people like a flock by the hand of Moshe and Aaron."
He's just recounting exactly what's going on. Alright?
I just also mention one thing. There was a documentary I watched with that, I think it's John White or whatever it is, that archaeologist. And they actually went there, and you actually see chariots. Chariot wheels and things all
I've seen that too.
So that should be that area that they...
It could be that area, but we could say we don't know exactly if that was the land bridge that was going on. What I know is that the water was high enough and powerful enough and separated only long enough for the time to be able to wash away not one chariot, not two, 600 choice chariots plus an entire army.
Also,
It must be massive. And I think throughout the years and everything like that also, you find it won't be the same place. The chariot wheels could be miles and miles and miles away.
Could have been washed down, but like I said, people have found archaeological evidence
these
that
guys
they are
most likely could have swum as well. So there must have been an event that would cause them not to be able to swim. I mean, they had the chariots, they had the wood on the chariots, most likely.
Chariots were built for battle, therefore they were plated. He was saying armor could sink. No, that's the thing. When you look at steel wheels, a real powerful army in any civilization made chariots fly. Okay, there was no way that these were battle chariots. These were not wagons. Okay, these were made to go into battle to destroy, and this is what made Egypt powerful because of their chariotry, because of the way they were able to flatten armies in any way plane that they had. That's what made the Philistines so strong, because of their chariots. And that's what made the Israelites so strong, well, against the Philistines, because they couldn't take the chariots up the mountains. So when they fought them, they tried to fight them on the plains. Okay? It made it very, very difficult. But these would have been battle chariots. They would have been very heavy.
What I'm saying is, I'm not saying that there was a flat piece of thing that they could walk across. I'm saying that the seas were parted, but there was a bridge that they could go across.
Yes.
But a column of water 20, 30 feet high is like two opposing tsunamis. If they come together like this, it's going to be anywhere in between. It's going to be
like a fly.
I just thought I would put all the other ideas at the same time. Okay? So, and Egypt pursued and came after them, every horse and Pharaoh, his chariots and his horsemen through the sea. And it was in the morning watch that Hashem gazed at Egypt's camp through the column of fire and the cloud, and threw Egypt's camp into tumult. And He turned its chariot's wheels so that it drove it with heaviness. So He stops the turning of the chariot's wheels so that it doesn't go fast and they kind of get stuck. How do I do that?
Make the same way.
It's mud.
Mud. The Hebrews walk across dry ground, and in the Hebrew it's very clear. Okay, take my word from it from very clever sages and rabbis that all agree on the same sort of comment, is that when the Hebrews crossed, it was dry ground. When the Egyptians crossed, it was damp. So they get stuck and then they can't move and they can't chase, and all of a sudden what they trusted in, Pharaoh, their army, these strong chariots, and they're coming up against God. And he goes, just a little bit of mud.
It's like walking on wet beach sand. You can walk over it pretty easily because it's hard, but if you probably drove an ox wagon through it, you'd probably get stuck.
That's a nice,
Alright, okay, and Egypt said, let me flee from Israel because Hashem is fighting for them against Egypt. Same testimony throughout time. And Hashem said to Moses, reach your hand out over the sea and the water will go back over Egypt and his chariots and over his horsemen. And Moses reached out his hand over the sea, and the sea went back to its strong flow toward morning. And Egypt was fleeing toward it. And Hashem tossed the Egyptians into the sea, and the waters went back and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all of Pharaoh's army who were coming after them in the sea. Not even one of them was left. And the children of Israel had gone out on dry land through the sea, and the water had been a wall to them at their right and to their left. And Hashem saved Israel from Egypt's hand that day. And Israel saw Egypt's dead on the seashore. First question. Why allow them to see the dead?
Testimony. To know that they could have been there if they didn't believe.
Okay, they didn't believe.
It's teaching.
It's teaching.
Why request Moses to stretch out his hands?
So that they can see their son.
Why?
Why not just
Deal with this question first. Why did he allow them to see the dead?
Disobedience leads to death.
Disobedience leads to
Isn't it in a
death.
sense like washing away their bondage?
It is.
I listened a few years ago when he taught this. So that they could see that their enemy was conquered.
What's the first thing you're worrying about?
They're going to come back.
As soon as they get around this ocean, we're in trouble. This is not shifting between, oh no, how are we going to get to Australia, and oh well, okay, the sea's closed, they're not going to get there. They're going to go around. They have chariots. It's only a matter of time before we're hunted down, beaten, and taken back. And then he goes, no, look, your bondage is washed away. It is your testimony. It is to show you that you're free. But there's something here that I want you to focus on. Proof. This is about rebirth.
Water being mikvah.
This is about baptism. This is about making you new.
There's a statement in the New Testament that says we are baptized into his death. Does this correlate with this passage?
No, yes and no. His death is not Pharaoh. He was talking about Yeshua.
No, I'm talking about our sinful
the bondage.
bondage.
Yes.
When
Yes,
God, we
that's
died.
half and half. Okay?
Egypt is gone.
The bondage is gone. If we take a look at this, and this is what I want you guys to hear. Sukkot is coming for those who want to be baptized. This is key. You are baptized in a way where, remember the discussion in John 3 verse where Nicodemus comes to talk to Yeshua. Okay? You guys remember? Tell me a story.
He says, well, let's see, well, unless you be baptized, or you be reborn.
Are you baptized unless you pass through water and
Spirit.
John 3, come, pull out the Bibles, dust them off. Look there, tell me what he says. I want to hear verbatim. What picture? I don't know. Are you guessing? Or
Okay.
are you reading?
John 3 verse 5. Yeshua answered, yes indeed, I tell you that unless a person is born from water and the Spirit, he cannot enter the kingdom of God.
Water
And Spirit.
Spirit, or let's say in our translation at this point, you will not see the kingdom.
So basically, John splits the water with wind for them to be saved. To show them that he's real.
It's not just real. I'm washing away who you were. You were in bondage, you were in sin, you were in a place where all you saw was death and life was horrible and terrible, and by your choices you are stuck there. Okay? Israel was led there for a time to teach them this very beautiful lesson. By passing through the water, by having enough faith in God, you had looking at coming under the covering of His blood. Coming underneath the covering of the cloud. Being purified by fire. You choose and you believe enough to pass through water. Being pushed against, divided by the Spirit. And you come as a nation to become, instead of a kingdom of slaves, to be a kingdom belonging to God. A people that belong to Him, a nation set apart. This is what happens when you mikvah, when you baptize. You go in and you believe that you are covered by the blood. You believe that He will continue to cover and provide for you. And you believe that His Spirit will come upon you so that you become something new. And when you look back and you want to remember, and people want to remind you who you are, just take a look at what happened to Pharaoh and his chariots. Where's my bondage? Where's Mitzrayim? He's gone. He doesn't exist. He's been washed away. The person who I was, the thing holding me back, everything is gone. And you can choose to move forward and you become a new creation. This is echoed time and time again. When they go and they cross the Jordan, same picture. It gets parted through the Ark of the Testimony and the priests jumping into the water, and they will go through that water, and instead of becoming wanderers in the wilderness and dedicated to God, they're moving into their promise.
As conquerors.
As conquerors, as people that are taking in the inheritance now, they're going into the promise. Each one of us have that promise. He will come again, He will reign, you belong to Him. When we move into that promise, we go from people that are born of this earth and we become new creations in the new heaven, new earth, living, reigning God. Right way. This is about God saying, forget about where you came from. You're gone. It's over. Your bondage. You alone can put those shackles back on you. And we do. Oh, Lord help us, but we do. Because every time we hit a wall, every time we see a battle, every time you get uncomfortable, well, I should have just stayed where I was. Instead of fighting for where you're going. Every single one of you. I said to you guys, it was last week or the week before, when I was doing counseling to a couple, going through some tough times with their marriage and things like that. I said, I cannot be the one who fights for your marriage the hardest. You have to. And I told you, you have to fight for your relationship with God. You have to believe. You have to make a stand. You have to show the world what's important to you. God first. And I know that sounds harsh. People go, oh, well, you know, I was talking to a guy and I said to him, you know what, trying to explain this whole idea of walking after God. And I said, you know, my wife knows that God has to come first, then she comes. Then my children. He's like, so what are you trying to say? I'm like, don't misunderstand the point. I do not hurt my wife because I want to spend more time with God. My calling, my testimony, my walk with God starts in my house. And it expands out. Okay? But to honor God, I look after my wife because that's what He wants for me. It's the blessing, it's there. To be able to lead my family, I have to do this, I have to study, I have to walk, I have to make time with Him. To be able to stand up here and go, all right, well, this is what we're going through. These are the images that God wants to do. Lord, what do you want to show them? I have to pray, I have to prepare, I have to do these things because I have to honor Him first. You have to fight daily and choose that through this, you can become this. And the amazing thing is, spiritually, this has taken place. But what happens after this isn't exactly all rainbows and sunshine. He gets them across. He gets them out of Egypt, and for the next few lessons, and for some, yeah, it could have been shorter, but for 40 years he has to get the Egypt out of there. This is about mikvah. This is about new creation. This is about promise. Okay?
Sorry, yeah, like what you said, when they crossed over, he loved them enough to get them across, even though, like, I suppose with the wonders and the signs and everything, they felt so close to God. Because it's right in the infancy of their walk with God, where he did the wonders and the plagues, being through to crossing on the Red Sea. So, like, they're not complaining or anything, and even like we were saying, what did they do afterwards? They're saying afterwards when that all happened, they were happy.
Yeah.
But it's like, it seems like our lives are very similar as well. When we first get into that, we feel like so close to God. And all of a sudden you feel lost again. And that's kind of like the desert moments. And you feel like, has God deserted you? But He's teaching you. And I think the enemy comes and then he's like, trying to make you see that you're still part of Egypt. That bondage is still there. But now what do you do to like stop that from, that it's happening? Is it because you're on your own and then you need to be in fellowship, or?
There's a lot of different tools that we have available. The biggest part is you got this. And again, you don't read it just because you read it. You read it, you study it so that you can apply it. That is...
Vincent, I know it isn't the deepest part, but if you read further on, it says, and then to be born again, you have to renew your mind. And it's by reading the word that you renew your mind, because you have to like reset your steps, because your old ways want to take over and want to take you back, because you, like you said, it's comfortable. So by reading, you renew your mind.
And you keep your focus on who's in front of you and not what's coming from behind you. You're going to go through testing. Okay, we're going to discuss this in a little bit. But what you guys are going to have to do is you're going to have to set barriers and good foundations. You guys are going to have to make a choice. I said, you know, you guys don't realize how much these Bible studies keep me in check, because I have to prepare. And this actually has become a bigger tool to keep me in line. Because on Monday night, I'm studying. On Tuesday night, I'm studying. On Wednesday night, I'm teaching. On Thursday night, I'm studying. Friday night, Shabbat. Saturday, I'm here. How many days a week am I with God? I don't have much choice. You've got people looking at me going, Vince, what does this mean? And I'm like, for 1 second. Alright? 90% of what I give you comes from studying, looking through different commentaries, going through this, picking up the names, asking, why does he say this? Why does he do this? Where does this come from? 10% comes with this God link that he just does this link, 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 link. And then I sound very clever at the end of the day, but most of the time when I talk to you about stuff, it's not in my book at all. It's this process of you have to make good habits and you have to force yourself to come. That's why I want you to read. I want you to study. I want you to ask the questions. Because I don't want you just to sit and pitch up and go, okay, Vince, feed me so I can go home. There's a time for spoon feeding. When you're little, you guys are not that little. You guys are growing. You can feed yourselves, you can study, you have minds, you're intelligent, you have tools available, and you have family. I'm really struggling with this. Who can help me? What's going on here? Does anybody have any insight? And it won't have to be me all the time. It will be other people that pitch up and they go, you know what, let me tell you what God did. Because when I walk through this and I follow through this, God gives me testimony, He gives me proof, and I'll go, come sit and have coffee, let me tell you what God did for me when I was in that situation 3 years ago. And all of a sudden, it's not me facing something by myself, it's me and family reminds me that God is there. And instead of looking back at Egypt going, they're going to break through any moment, you've got someone tapping you on the shoulder, go, hey, bud, you want to cross the river quickly? There's a nice little pathway for you, God's holding it, just for you. Move your butt. I'll walk with you. Let's get across the sea. Let's go into what God promised. Let's become this new kingdom. Be the new creation. Don't act like you belong to Egypt anymore. God has forgotten about your past, so you forget about your past. He's forgotten about your mistakes. Let it go. Every time you feel that old urge of, oh, well, you know, when I'm tired, I normally just do this instead of doing this. What did we read in Romans? Something about persistence, habit. Persistence forms habit, habit forms character, character, or something along those lines. You remember the scripture? Regan will help me out now. Okay, it becomes what you instill will become habit. Your habit will define who you are, what you stand for. If you continually force the choice until it doesn't even become a choice anymore. Yeah. Shabbat comes, what are we doing for Shabbat? Sitting at home, we're lighting some candles, we're celebrating with God. In the beginning it was, oh, okay, we need to do this, we need to do this. Come, go to the shops, get some bread. No, we're going to do this, we're going to do this right. And it was tough at times because you were tired and you just want to sit and watch TV and just switch off your brain. But man, oh man, when you kick that habit and you start to go, right, TV off, God here, let's talk about family, let's talk about God, let's rejoice in what He's done for this week. All of a sudden, it's not just about switching off, it's about me and God. Why do you think He gives us the Shabbat cycle? Why do you think He gives us Rosh Chodesh, the monthly cycle? Why do you think He gives us Passover, Shavuot, Sukkot, Yom Teruah, Feast of Blowing of Trumpets? Why does He give us Yom Kippur? These things are there to keep you on track. Every so often you announce the Hallel. Why do you think He instilled in Torah that you will have morning prayers, afternoon prayers? Those are your sacrifice times. No, but it's okay if you pray once a week. It's okay if you pick up your Bible every time you go to church. No. You've got cycles daily, weekly, monthly. But guess what, kids? It's up to you. God's standing there in your room waiting for you to pick up this book so He can show you something for you. One of the most powerful testimonies that excites me the most is when you open up that Bible, when you make a choice to start reading it day in and day out, and you start flipping through the pages, and every day He tells you, He talks to Shem, He talks to Becca, He talks to Des, and He's talking to you through His Word, and you're going, this is what I want you to focus on today. This is for you, because you need food. You need to invest in this relationship, and you need to fight so that you can become this new creation. The key word is you. God's there. He's waiting. Start walking. Alright? I'm going to skim through the beginning of the song. Alright? The song is basically broken up into 5 parts. Okay?
Before you continue, why did Moses say stretch out his hands?
Yeah.
Why not just close the
What's the same way as you have to be painting the doorpost of your house? You have to make the choice to walk away from your past.
So you have to actively participate in whatever you do.
Who makes the choice to be baptized? You or your pastor? You. Is this between you and your pastor or you and God? Who's going to climb into the water?
You and your pastor.
Who's going to climb into the water on that cold morning and you think, you have to. He had to actively turn around and go, by this, I acknowledge this, and the rest God takes care of. Only in the journal.
Trust me, I didn't even tell him about this.
Alright, so chapter the beginning, listen to what happens next. 15 verse 1. Then Moses and the children of Israel sang the song to Hashem, and they said, saying, this idea that praise and worship in modern day or some olden day churches is that you stand there, you sing quietly and you rum. This is not Hebraic, this is not biblical at all. Moses and them start singing and dancing and rejoicing and going crazy, and they sing a song, and I'm going to break it down for you in 5 parts. The first part, praise. Second part, he reviews his miracles. Third part, he talks about Pharaoh's plan of destruction. Fourth part, he talks about the reaction of the nations for what's taking place. Remember, he's still teaching. And the last part, he talks about Israel's future. Okay?
Will you sing it for us?
Sure.
Sure.
At least you don't. What's the second?
Just imagine
Right. Let me read this, sorry again. Praise, review of miracles, Pharaoh's plan of destruction, reaction of the nations, and Israel's future. Okay? Let me sing to Hashem, for he has triumphed. Horse and rider he cast into the sea. My strength and song, and he became a salvation, a Yeshua for me. Coincidence? I think not. This is my God. Notice, this is not a God. This is not the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. This is my God. And I'll praise him. My father's God, and I'll hail him. Hashem is a warrior. Not a warrior, as in W-O.
Man of war.
Man of war. This is a God who's not afraid to go to battle. Stop treating him like a meek and mild old man who doesn't like to do anything. When he goes out to war, how do you think you got here? He fought for you. He pursued you. He fights your battles. And when people are bent on your destruction, even when you're walking there, they cannot find you. Why? Because he's blocking their view.
Amen.
That's what they're expecting with Yeshua. He can.
It was part of a physical, but
expecting a man of that
yeah.
No, but then you Isaiah 53, they would have known.
Yeah, many other implications that pull it. But I think
this is way beyond it.
It was more, but this was more about their desire. Okay? Hashem is his name. I will say Yahweh, or Yahweh, okay? Pharaoh's chariots and his army plunged into the sea. The choice of his troops drowned in the Red Sea. The deeps covered them. They sank into the depths like a stone. Your right hand, Hashem, awesome in power. Who's the right hand of God?
Yeshua.
And in your triumphs, greatness, you threw down your adversary. You let go your fury. It consumed him like straw. By ruach, or wind, from your nostrils, water amassed. You see, it came directly from him. It was his holy breath. And it piled it up like a heap. The deeps congealed in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I'll pursue, I'll catch, I'll divide spoil. My soul will be sated. I'll unsheath my sword. My hand will deprive them. That's exactly what Hasatan and the old you will do. It will destroy you. Just because it doesn't happen within 5 minutes, don't think it's not happening. You blew with your wind, sea covered them. They sank like lead in the awesome water. Who is like you among the gods, Hashem? Who is like you, awesome in holiness? Something that means separated, set apart. Fearsome with splendors, making miracles. You reached your right hand. You reached your right hand. Earth swallowed them. You led in your kindness the people you redeemed. You ushered in your strength to your holy abode. Does that not sound like what's happening to you? You reached out your right hand. Yeshua reached out to you. He led you in kindness. The people you redeemed, you ushered in your strength to your holy place.
It's not also like prophetic of
What's coming?
Yeah.
This is Yeshua, Yeshua, Yeshua the whole time. Peoples heard, they shuddered. Shaking seized Philistia, the Philistine residents. Then Edom's chiefs were terrified. Moab's chieftains trembling seized them. All Canaan's residents melted. Because their God was supposed to be in control of water, and all of a sudden the God of the Hebrews goes, where's your God? He's still teaching. Terror and fear came over them. At the power of your arm, they're silent like stone. Till your people passed, Hashem, till the people you created passed. You'll bring them and plant them in your legacy's mountain, your throne's platform where you made, Hashem, a holy place, Lord, that your hands reared. Hashem will reign forever and ever. And the people say, Amen. Because Pharaoh's horses and with the chariots and with the horsemen came into the sea. And Hashem brought back the water over the sea over them, and the children of Israel had gone onto dry land through the sea. And Miriam the prophetess, Aaron's sister, took a drum in her hand, and all the women went out and behind her with drums and dances. And Miriam sang to them, Sing to Hashem, for he triumphed, horse and rider across into the sea. Such a celebration from such fear, such a testimony from such testing. Verse 22. Moses had Israel travel from the Red Sea, and they went into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days in the wilderness, and they did not find water. Is God lost? No. Can I take this down?
Yes, sir.
So, what is he doing? God's completely lost his mind. He's taking them 3 days away from a massive water source. Okay, that's not too great to drink. And he takes them away into this wilderness, and they're making their way, and there's singing and dancing and celebration and disco and all the good things. And then all of a sudden, no water. What happens?
Back to the old Israel, old Egypt.
Who is
Right.
Who is numero?
You have all these riches. How's these riches not going to help?
Teaching. Very important. You have the wealth of Egypt. You are running through. Look at all my gold. Look at all my jewels. Look at my bling. I've got this other stuff, and he puts you in a place where you cannot spend a cent. I just want to go get some bottled water, my boys. I'll be right back. Oh wait, there's no caravans here. There's no people here offering me, please come stay in the 5-star hotel. Let me show you about, this is life. You have arrived. Welcome. God takes him to a place where money means nothing. The best thing you can give your children, the best thing he can give you, is God. Okay? Let him see what's going on here. They went 3 days into the wilderness, and they did not find water, and they came to Mara. And they were not able to drink water from Mara because it was bitter. On account of this, that was called the name Mara. Okay, the word Mar in Hebrew, M-A-R, if you want to spell it out, means bitter. Okay? So he brings them to a place, love this, takes them to a place, here we go, there's water. We can't drink this water. Yeah. And God's sitting there, well, I wonder what's going to happen. And you're sitting here thinking, hey Moshe, bro, I was with you until we crossed the Red Sea, but I think you've lost your mind. Obviously, God stayed on that side of the river, and whatever's following us or leading us here is maybe not so right. What's going on?
I wonder if Moses knew that well. And I wonder if he questioned, I wonder what these people are going to do about this. They're probably going to be very disappointed.
Can you imagine him being led there? This man has been a shepherd in this wilderness, bringing his flock, and he's going, no, the water sources are done. But imagine, 2.5 million people. What water source do we have that can sustain these people? It's impossible. You can go back to Egypt and you can enjoy the Nile, or we can run forward.
And going back to now.
Where's the land flowing with milk and honey and all the good things?
He's in the now.
And they came to Mara and they were not able to drink it from Mara because it was bitter. On account of this, he called the name Mara. And the people complained, something new. They're saying, what shall we drink? And he cried to Hashem, and Hashem showed them a tree. And he threw it into the water, and the water sweetened. Bitter water.
Bitter tree.
Okay?
Bitter water.
T equals smiley face. Right? Now let's look at happiness that is. Life-giving sustenance. Okay. Bitterness.
Sin.
No, don't.
Sin and bondage. Egypt, suffering, everything that had anything to do with Egypt. And on face value we can go, God says he can make your bitterness sweet. That'll be a beautiful testimony when in Pesach we celebrate, because This is what God has done. If it was not for Him, we would still be in bondage today. You can celebrate your bitterness, New Testament, your bondage.
So did it?
Add a tree.
Life.
Let me do this sort of thing.
Crucifixion.
You want me to draw a little man on it, hanging on a cross? Will become a sweet testimony. What is he doing? Laughing? Is our God sadistic, or is he going, I'm going to remind you of your testimony here on here at Pesach, and you're going to go, yes, look what God did. And he goes, while you're celebrating that, remember me when I come to sit on a tree to free you from your bondage. Life-giving water. With God, He can make this situation fantastic. He can make it a celebration. Even though this is also something that Jewish people struggle with. I had a discussion with a guy, a dear friend, a Jewish guy, and he struggled with, because unfortunately he's had to deal with people that are very fervent for Jesus. And when I say that, I'm talking about the Greek idea of this thing. Remember, what we portray, the Easter bunnies, the Christmas, yes, we're eating the ham sandwiches while we're celebrating with, our God, runs to Him and kind of just goes to Him, and you know what, you need to be covered by the blood of God. Let it flow all over you. And remember, in Torah, blood is unclean. And he's thinking, oi, and then you run up and you say to him, yes, it's Good Friday. And he stopped one day, we were down there, and he looked at me and he said, I need to ask you something. A man dying on a cross, what's good about seeing another brother die? What is good about that?
Well, we know it's good.
You can celebrate the sacrifice that He came to do, but there was nothing. When you saw Him dying on the cross, if I even picture it, there is nothing good there. This man was being persecuted. He was beaten. He was flogged. For himself, what did he do? We only understand it because of the sacrifice that takes place. We can only rejoice after this. While He was taking on our bondage, and we see the bitterness.
You can just imagine how the disciples felt those 3 days. Like, did I just waste my life?
Walking past Emmaus, and the one who we thought was the Messiah.
Why didn't they try and stop? Well,
They didn't know the scripture.
They didn't. Okay, we can look at the scriptures. We can look at the scriptures, and we can go, yes, this is what happened, and this is why it needed to happen. But just imagine that day. It was horrific. It was their rabbi. It was tough. People were persecuted. People were destroyed. And our testimony says, because of that, we have life. And we can understand the imagery of this, but understand the harshness of it at the same time. Okay? So, He led, verse 25, He set law and judgment for them there. He starts teaching them Torah. Okay? There's a portion of Torah that comes out that probably later gets written down. He set law and judgment from there, and He tested them there. And He said, if you will listen, Shema, to the voice of God, of Hashem your God, and you'll do what is right in His eyes, and turn your ear to His mitzvahot, His instructions, His commandments, and observe all His laws, I won't set on you any of the sicknesses that are set on Egypt. Because I, Hashem, am your healer. If you follow Torah, all of His instructions, all of His teachings, you will not have to worry about what went on in Egypt. You will be completely healed. Now I wonder where that starts to take place, with a man dying on a cross.
He took our illnesses, and we can pray for healing things because of
By his stripes we are? Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm just giving you a verse. Alright? And then he came to Elim. I love this. Sort of like a side testing. Alright, I'm writing very, very excitingly big here. Can I take this down? Alright.
TGO.
Remember, that was a shape of the cross. That was a cross beam only. Okay? So, come to the point. The second place he takes him to is a place called Elim. Elim means what?
Hold that thought.
Oh, okay. What do they find at Elim?
12 springs and 70 palm trees.
12 springs, water, and 70 trees.
The head of the heads of the tribes?
70 righteous.
First tell me what this is.
The 12 tribes.
Elim, what does Elim mean? This is an oasis, by the way. If you haven't noticed, we're still wandering the wilderness and all of a sudden we've got so much water we don't know what to do with it. Elim.
Wisdom.
Let me take you to the place of wisdom. After he gave them the instruction, if you follow all of my instructions, okay, 12 springs of living water, something that is life-giving, something that is fresh, something that is beautiful. 12 represents what?
The tribes.
Okay, we've got 12 tribes, and if we want to be New Testament-y,
12 disciples.
tell me. Okay, 12 disciples. Whoever drinks of me, remember? Just again. And if they drink of living water, a wellspring of living water will come up in them and flow from them. The image is that you will bring life to the people. You're in a desert. If you do not have this, you will not live. Okay? 17. Okay, what we call the Sanhedrin.
The Sanhedrin. I was going to say the tetrahedron.
It's a three-headed what? Okay, the Sanhedrin. Okay, 70 righteous people. Where do I get righteous? A date palm was the tallest tree, domestic tree in Israel at the time. Okay? They say there's a thing, it says, may I be upright and righteous like the date palm. Okay? The date palm also gives what if we boil the fruit?
Honey.
Boil the dates.
Let your
Honey. So it talks about righteousness.
yes.
And honey, which alludes to what?
The word.
The word, yeah.
May your word, may your Torah be sweet in my mouth.
Like honey.
Because your word is righteous. Okay? All this is pointing to, through that instruction of observing all my Torah, I will heal you, I will make your bitterness sweet, and I will give you wisdom. And if you have wisdom, you will understand. And if you understand, you will understand what I'm doing to you, what I want to do for you, and what I'm going to do through Yeshua. Alright? All of these images are going to come back. And this is the kicker for this verse. Talks more about Mara than it does about this wonderful paradise. And then he tells them, and they moved. Why leave? You've just arrived. You've got water, you've got honey, man, you've got it all. Why leave?
It wasn't the promised land, he wasn't finished teaching them.
Wasn't finished teaching them, wasn't where they were supposed to go.
They were ready.
So they didn't drink that water.
They did. They were fully restored and revived and all happy and excited for about 5 minutes.
They didn't leave the past behind yet. They were still, longing for that.
The slave.
Only when they get put in uncomfortable positions. In this place they're very comfortable.
But that's not teaching them anything. They haven't gone through the hardships in order to know that God is their ultimate Alpha and Omega.
You are going to have to, once you understand your mother, once you become a new creation, once you understand making your bitterness sweet, who you were, all of a sudden becomes a testimony instead of an embarrassment. you're still going to feel a little embarrassed. Okay? Then you will receive wisdom. And once you receive those two things, you have a testimony. And then God says, okay, now go spread it. Don't sit camping at the mountain. People need what you have. You go to Israel, you receive teaching, you receive a God for Israel, and you think, oh Lord, why I should be dwelling here all the days of my life, and every year I struggle with this. When I come back, I feel this is pointless.
That's a very good statement. I mean, you see a person, let me just make an example. You see a person that is working on Shabbat and he's earning a decent salary. If you're going to go and tell him this, and it's not nice, he might lose his job, and you will be the cause for that, where if you didn't say anything, it would be sweet, it would be nice, it's comfortable. So why go to him and say to him what not?
You know what? You have testimonies to share. You have places to be. You have people to go and experience. You are reflecting God in His fullness. So just because you're comfortable now and you're in a happy place does not mean that you're going to stay there forever.
Exactly.
Move on and share what God is teaching you, because that is the purpose. He's teaching you so you would share. Alright. Let's see. We're running out of time. Alright. Are we gonna try and push it? Or let's do it. Alright, let's do it. Chapter 16, verse 1. And they traveled from Elim, and all the congregation of children of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai. And on the 15th day of the second month, the 15th day of the second month after the Exodus from the land of Egypt. So how long have they been on tour for?
45 days? No.
1 month. Since Passover happened. 1 month, and we've already grumbled a few times, and we've seen some fantastic things, right? All of the congregation of the children of Israel complained at Moses and at Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of the Israel said to them, who would make it so that we had died by Hashem's hand in the land of Egypt, when we sat by a pot of meat, when we ate bread until we were full, because you brought us out to this wilderness to kill us, and to kill this whole community with starvation. Okay? We should have stayed in Egypt where we had full tummies. Rather be in bondage and be full than serve God and go through difficulty.
But that's the world today. They would rather have everything and then to give up and be this.
I wish I could say it was just the world, because before I really studied this portion, I was like, yeah, little snot copes, did you not see the wonders? I think then we do the same thing.
I think they could not see ahead. I think they could not see how they were going to eat food, and that caused them to be moaning and groaning about not now having food.
Trust problems.
I think they had big trust problems with God. Yes, exactly. They could not see where they were going.
And let me challenge you. How many of you, after going through a month of difficulty, go, oh man, this is too tough. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I want to go through this.
Let's be honest, folks. Where's the light? What light? Can you see the light?
Calm down, Uncle Grant. This is a process where God, and this is what I love about him. He doesn't turn around and like, which happens later, and he gives him a zap. He's so busy taking these little babies and he's leading them, and he goes, okay, I want you to realize that jewels will not satisfy your thirst. Jewels will not give you life. I will give you life. And he's slowly but surely holding them by the hand, leading this little flock, going, listen to Daddy's voice, let Daddy show you, come, come, come. And this is the process we go through when you start your process of being a believer. He leads you by the hand. And you can go, oh, this is so hard, and you can do this. And he lovingly just reassures you, and he builds up your trust, even though you saw miraculous things. And you go through this process. This is not an excuse, by the way. And then later, when you know enough, Oh boy, you grumble about the same thing, you get a newspaper
You
cut.
get hiding.
Bam! Don't you remember I saved you from that at least 7 times before this? You should know better.
I think it's that some things take us by surprise, and then you end up reacting maybe, and then afterwards you think about it. So like in the moment, maybe it just
In the moment we need to learn. If we have ourselves focused on God, if we're looking at the pillar of cloud and the fire, if we are looking at all the rest of it, we need to stop going destruction and we need to start going, okay Lord, we're here now. I know you know what we need, but I'm asking you to bring that to me. He wants you to ask. Why? Because it teaches you that it's not me that will go out and get food. It's not me that will go out and get work. It's not me that will protect my family. It's not me. Lord, you give me a salary. You make the business have enough so that we can get food, so I can give